Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome back to episode 96 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
Hello.
How's it going, sir?
I almost forgot what to say.
I know, we haven't done this for a while.
Whew. Okay, welcome back.
Thanks. The baby is here.
Baby's here. And
so,
you kept the baby alive for, 9 weeks?
9 weeks, the baby's still alive. It's a
Impressive.
miracle.
Houseplants that would be very jealous, right?
They don't give you any instructions. Actually, they do. That's kind of a lie. They give you instruction sheets.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta figure a lot of stuff out on your own.
No ER visits yet?
No.
Oh, that's
We've
impressive.
probably called the advice line like 14 times.
They're like, oh, this dude again.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, you get a different person every time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they can see in the file.
The record.
Yeah. But we have not gone to the ER, knock on wood, yet.
Oh, that's good. We were, I think, in the ER in the first 3 days for something stupid, and we definitely felt stupid after we left. But
I don't think I'm much closer to it than you, but the anxiety is. I'm already like an anxious person, but even I've talked to some of my friends who are not anxious people. I actually include you in one of those, and they have indicated that they felt extreme anxiety when they in the first week of their firstborn baby. So yeah. I think if you run to the ER, I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, man. I'm happy to be recording with you again.
You have no idea how good this feels. So, yeah, I think we're just going to kind of play catch up a little bit, get back into the groove of things, talk about some odds and ends.
Yeah. Well, there's been some beer updates, some things I think to chat about, so we definitely are not short of material.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's drink beer. So this will be only the second or third beer I've drank since the baby's been born.
Dang.
I know. I'm prioritizing sleep over everything else as much as possible. So, all right.
I wish I could say I've been abstaining while you've been abstaining, but
well, I've been missing.
That would be a lie.
I got excited to look in my beer fridge. So I actually picked one. I'm glad I looked at everything because I'm gonna drink As Above, So Below from Mortalis Brewing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And the reason I picked this is that I was perusing my fridge and looking at the ABV, and this one's only 10%, so I think I can do it. But it also said drink fresh, don't age, which is interesting because it's a stout. So I was like, oh, I better drink this then.
So I have some, sorry to interject, I have some new perspective on this. I was listening to someone talk about how you should drink your cellar, stop aging your beer, just drink everything fresh.
Okay.
Everything. Because even a brewery, say Fremont's releasing their Dark Star or whatever, their 2022 vintage, right? It's spent time in the barrels, right? They've aged it.
That makes sense.
So the brewery is aging it to what they think is perfection. Now take it home and drink it, right? Stop taking it home and thinking that you're gonna make it better because you age it now for 2-3 years. So anyway, I'm all about just drink everything fresh.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's not really because I'm sure. Well, I'm not even cellaring them right because they're in a fridge. And they're not changing that much because they're sealed up in a bottle. It's not like they're still in a barrel.
Yeah, exactly. So
I could definitely get behind that. All right, so I poured this. It's extremely dark, very minimal head, and I forgot to say this is this is Imperial Stout brewed with coffee and then marshmallow.
I like it.
It definitely has a creamy note. You can kind of smell like marshmallow. It smells like a little bit like toast, like toasted marshmallow and graham cracker, and a little bit of coffee note, a little bit of dark chocolate. Yeah, it smells good. It's very interesting. I think I'm gonna like this one because I think it's gonna be sweet.
All right, awesome.
All right, what are you drinking, Steven?
All right, well, this is a beer I picked up from a brewery here in Austin. It's kind of outside of Austin towards a town called Dripping Springs. They have a ton of good breweries. This brewery actually is just about half a mile from Jester King, but it's called BeerBurg. And the brewer is one of those, I mean, it's very Jester King-esque because they do some wild stuff, and they're just very much about the land, about what they grow on their property. So this guy will just go out and pick weird weeds and mushrooms, and he'll put it into beer, and somehow it just ends up being amazing. So I've had some really good beers from them. This I was very excited about because this is an Oyster Stout.
Oh, cool.
And I haven't been able to find an Oyster Stout in a very long time. It's just not one of those styles that you see very often. So I thought if anyone could pull it off, it would be BeerBurg, just because they're so good at pulling off sort of weird beers, weird adjuncted beers. So this is just 5.8%. So it's very, the smell is very amber ale smell. More of a like caramely toffee. It's not super roasty or super dark chocolate. Just has like a nice little hint of that toffee caramel, just barely roasted malt smell. Maybe a little sort of briny on the nose, like ocean water smell, like just right in very in the background. But definitely smells thin if that makes any sense. It doesn't smell like super thick or creamy or anything. Not getting that off thing. So we'll see how it drinks. But a dark color, fairly thick head that retained when it poured, and then it's kind of come down to about just a couple centimeters. All right.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Okay, I picked a good one to return to the podcast with. I had a feeling because it has 96 on Beer Advocate, that would be pretty good. But yeah, this is like almost exactly what I like in a stout. It's brownie batter, like sweet brownie batter, like or like even maybe like chocolate cake batter, like right on the entrance. And then you get that like cream from the marshmallow, and then it kind of has like a rum note. It's interesting. And then definitely black coffee. The only thing I don't like about it is there's like a flash of the booze in the development. You kind of taste the alcohol for a second, and that's kind of, maybe that kind of is giving that rum note too.
Okay.
And then the finish is like just sweet marshmallow. But yeah, this is really good. I would drink this in a heartbeat again. It says and there was a note on the website. It said they basically during the brewing process they take coffee and they lower it into the fermenter where it resides until the beer is complete. So it's almost like they dry hop it with coffee.
Wow.
Which is insane. And it doesn't say from where, but it just says they partner with a local roaster. So they basically say this is... Oh, it says You're Making Me Crazy Coffee. I guess it's a local coffee place that they really like their coffee. But they basically say it's a cold steeped coffee beer almost. Which, it's crazy. But yeah, you basically... Nice. Yeah, it's like coffee and chocolate cake batter. And a little bit of vanilla. Really good. It's sweet. Like, you definitely have to drink it slow. But yeah, really good. Thumbs up for me.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
How's yours?
Mortalis, they're very well known for their fruit sours. Sours, which are amazing. The best I've ever had are from Mortalis. But yeah, I've heard that their IPAs and stouts are good. So
yeah, I think I'll have to check my notes, but I think this might be the first thing I've ever had from Mortalis. So yeah, I really liked it. I'll check out
awesome.
If I can get anything else from them, I'll definitely try it again.
Very cool. So thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Nice. So mine's pretty good. It's it almost drinks like a dark lager. Okay. It has those roasted characteristics of like the darker malts, but it drinks very, very smooth and crisp. Like it's very light bodied. So it's definitely giving me dark lager vibes.
Okay.
The saltiness of the oyster, like that's what I always think of, like what an oyster stout's gonna bring is bring in some like briny saltiness.
Yeah. To
try and give you that like sort of salted caramel, salted chocolate flavor. I'm not really getting much of that.
Oh.
It's really just a like thin-bodied stout.
That's kind of lame because that's like, yeah, the big draw I feel like the oyster stout is that brininess that you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's good. It's like actually a pretty warm weather drinkable stout. I mean, obviously it's brewed how it's brewed. I just like very much getting dark lager vibes off of this just because of how thin and crisp it drinks. So, but yeah.
All right, cool. So, wait, is that a thumbs up or
Like a thumb sideways.
sideways? Which for you is a thumbs down?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna drink this again. I don't drink a lot of things again, but I wouldn't seek this out again. I actually, at the same time, I picked up a bottle of a Goza from them. It was a sumac berry Goza. Like I said, they put
sumac berry.
So it's interesting because when I drank it, I was like, this tastes like lime, like almost like a key lime Goza. And sure enough, sumac berries taste basically, they're very like lemon and limey.
Okay.
So yeah, it was good. It was definitely, I think, better executed than this, but I like their stuff. It's a cool brewery.
Okay, cool. All right, so 1 thumbs up and 1 thumb sideways.
Yeah, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, aka thumbs down. Definitely.
We'll just call it what it is.
Effectively a thumbs down. All right, cool. Well, that was our drinking beer segment. And then next we have postscripts, where we correct things from previous episodes, beer news, which is self-explanatory, and story time with Steve.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any postscripts.
Yeah, it's been too long for that. Clean slate.
Yeah, we're at it. We're starting over on postscripts because I don't remember.
Yep. But beer news.
There's a lot of beer news.
Yeah. Do you have anything off the top of your head? The mayonnaise beer? Is that beer news?
Yes, that's the one I wanted to talk about. So I was just perusing.
Okay, so let me say this because I'm close to Martin House Brewing.
Okay.
They're in Fort Worth. It's about 3 hours away, but I am well within their like heavy distribution area. Okay. So I get almost everything that they make. At least everything they distribute, I can get. They make some weird stuff. Okay, this brewery, I swear, they must be independently wealthy. These guys, or they're making so much money on their flagships that like they just, I don't know how they spend the money, the time, and the resources on brewing such weird beers, like say a mayonnaise beer, or they just had their pickle fest.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago. The beers they had on tap were, of course, they have their best made pickle beer. It's very popular. Mm-hmm. They also had a spicy version, a ranch pickle version. They had a pickle peanut butter version. They had a fried pickle version. They also have a watermelon pickle version, which actually is pretty good. I had that one. But the beers they are brewing are so weird and so niche. But like, also they're popular. Like they sold out of the mayonnaise beer. Oh,
did they really? Wait, did you see it like in stores or?
No, I don't think it distributed.
They just had it at the brewery.
Yeah, but they sold out. I mean, granted, they could make a fairly small batch, and
yeah.
But like, did they make one batch and think, oh yeah, this is the mayonnaise beer? Or how many batches did it take to actually work out?
Like dial it in.
Yeah, dial in a mayonnaise beer, or So that's why I'm always just like, how much money are they spending on making
it's insane.
A mayonnaise beer? And yeah, so again, I just think they have all the, like, they must just be sitting on this massive pile of cash. They can make whatever they want, and then somehow they probably end up making money on it because they just want to try something weird. I guess that's what they're doing. They're capitalizing on my need for new things.
Well, we've talked about this before, that like Oreos have Oreo and all these corporate brands have kind of dialed in on this phenomenon that they can make, like Coke's doing it now, where they make like Stardust Coke and then everyone will buy it once. Or like Oreos,
they are terrible.
Yeah, none of them are good, but they know like if we make something novel, we just make one round of it, it'll sell out because people like to try new things. Then I think they probably do make money. So maybe Martin House just knows like if they make something weird, it'll sell out, even if it's not that great, because everyone will buy one just to try it. So they just kind of make like novelty beers. But I read there's a really fun subreddit called, I think it's called The Brewery, and it's basically just people that are in the business. It's not really it's a little bit of owners, but a lot of people just like that work in brew houses will just like put random pictures, and it's a lot of like very technical questions, like, oh, my canner is doing this weird error, does anyone know how to fix it? But I just like to read it. I just like to Like, it's very voyeuristic for me because, like, we've talked about this before, but, like, Steven and I are terrified to, like, own a brewery because... And there's actually a post the other day that, like, captured it so perfectly. It's, like, someone basically posted, like, I love brewing beer so much. Explain to me, like, why I shouldn't open a brewery. Mm-hmm. And it was basically kind of what we talk about, but, like, the market's saturated, so you're going to face, like, unbelievable competition. And you might find once your livelihood depends on it, all the fun that you have, like, brewing it in your garage now is going to vanish. Because suddenly you're going to be stressed that, like, you can't pay your bills with your beer. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, I never really thought about it that way. But that's kind of what I'm, like, tapping into is, like, seeing all these problems that happen. But anyways, I was just perusing that subreddit, and then I saw this. Someone posted never a dull day in the brew house, and it was a picture of the Martin House mayonnaise beer. And they actually did such a good job on the label because it looks like a jar of mayonnaise. It even has, like, the blue cap at the top, like the screw cap with the with the little lines, you know.
What is the brand of that? Best Foods? Best Foods? Isn't it some? It's Best
Yeah,
Foods.
What is it? Real. It says real mayonnaise. Yeah, what is the brand? Is it Best Foods? Hold on. I'm gonna look up. Just if you look up. Yeah, you probably do. It looks exactly like the. You have.
Wait, is it Hellman's? Is it this one?
It looks a lot like that. Yeah, it has the bow. So they did model it after that. So it looks like that, and instead of where it says Hellman's, it says Martin House. And then there's the little bow, exactly like that. And then instead
of saying... put my mayonnaise back in the fridge.
Yeah, okay, put it back. I'll describe to the audience what it looks like. And then where it would say real mayonnaise, they wrote real mayonnaise, just how they did on the mayo can, but they wrote beer at the end. So they basically kind of replicated... Yeah, they basically totally replicated what the Hellman's looks like, but they added the word beer, and then they put Martin House instead of Hellman's. And then they put, like, it has, like, the blue cap with the, like, with the ridges. It has ridges.
So I got you. Okay,
yeah. Like, so you can grip the top of the top of the jar and open it. So, yeah. So silly. So I texted that to Steven and was just, like, laughing. And then even in the comments, someone was like, in the comments, someone was like, you have a picture of it in the, like the fermenter, and they showed a picture of it and it was like white, and I was like, oh, it looks so awful. This is like, why would you make a mayonnaise beer? This does not sound good at all.
I used to donate I used to donate all, like, sorts of blood products, but plasma is one of them. And if you donate blood plasma, I think they always said, like, avoid fatty foods the night before. I think it's just, like, people who are, like, chronically have a lot of fat in their diet. I didn't think, like, one meal could actually affect it. But you would, every once in a while, you'd see this plasma come out. And instead of the golden color, which would be, like, very beer-like, it would look white. Like, it would have tons of fat in it. Like, and we'd call it lipemic plasma. So yeah. I assume that's very similar, right? You got your
nice, I think that's kind of what it looked like.
Beer-colored plasma or your fatty white.
Yeah. Not good. So wait, was that, if the plasma had that extra fat in it, was it was just as useful? Or?
You couldn't use it. We would talk.
Really? Oh my gosh. So they really didn't want you to?
Yeah, we'd usually stop the procedure before, because, as soon as it started to collect in the bag like that, we would just stop.
Like, oh, we can't use that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Don't want to give that to a patient. That's not what they need.
No. Wild.
Okay, and also the funny thing too now, like on Instagram, it's pretty common to see, like, anything weird that comes up. Like, so Martin House, they have it's actually coming up, I think, in the next few weeks, called Glizzy Fest. Do you know what a glizzy is?
Is it a hot dog?
Hot dog, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have Pickle Fest, of course, and then they have Glizzy Fest, and it's like everything hot dog. They have hot dog flavored beers and all sorts of weird stuff. But there was a video that went viral a while back of this guy, and it's like at a baseball stadium or something, and this guy's filming this other guy a couple rows ahead who takes a hot dog. He sticks a straw through the middle of the hot dog, and then pulls it out. So now the middle of the hot dog is a straw, essentially. Oh, no. And then he sticks that in his beer and starts drinking his beer through his glizzy straw.
Wow.
And of course, the first thing that people do is they tag Martin House Brewing in the comments, and they're like, "Is this you?"
That's hilarious.
And then anytime there's something, anytime there's something weird, like I don't know, some weird idea for a beer that's like a joke, especially April Fools, they do all these funny things. Everyone's like, Martin House, don't get any ideas. So it's a whole joke even on the internet about the beers that Martin House brews.
Stuff they make. Okay, so the mayonnaise beer was within. That's like par for the course for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
so
man, that's great.
Yeah, I think we did an episode about them, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. And yeah, it just it amazes me how many like crazy beers come out of there. How many crazy beers actually kind of taste good from them, and then also how many like they also produce really, really good beers too.
Yeah, I think it's probably just audience capture. That's like what they have. Well, that's a different phenomenon. That's like when you tailor your content to your audience, but it's more like they're at this point they have like Patreons, like real life Patreons. Like they just have a community that's going to buy anything they make, so it's empowered them to just do anything they want, which is really cool. That's kind of that's where you want to be. Like
it is really fun because they've had some birthday cake beers and stuff that are like birthday cake sours that are just phenomenal. Like really,
who's gonna
really
make a
good
birthday cake sour?
And it's really good.
But that sounds so good to me.
Yeah, it's just you can like taste this yellow cake batter, but also this like. But it has just enough sourness. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird, but it's so good. So.
Okay, next time they make one of those, you gotta let me know. I'm flying in.
Yeah, so that's Martin House. That's some fun beer news. Other things. Let's see. So I think this might have happened before we went off, but I was able to get tickets for the Firestone Walker Invitational.
Yes. I knew you got tickets.
And they came out with the beer list, not the beer list, but the brewery list.
Okay.
So I'll pull that up because super excited. Of course, I'm excited about WeldWorks because I'm always excited about WeldWorks.
Yeah, I'm a big WeldWorks fan now. That
I just love everything they bring. But some of the ones that like are gonna be here that aren't. They don't come to the Great American Beer Festival and that kind of stuff. Three Floyds.
Oh, Three Floyds.
Alvarado. Yeah, Alvarado Street from Monterey. Everything they make is just so good. Veilbreaker, which I'm very excited about. Always love to see them. Side Project is another big one that like.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it was never on my radar, and then at some point I started to get like more aware of this brewery that like everybody wanted to get something from them. So
I think we talked about like it was almost like the Tavor craze that they got on there, right? And there was some like some of the locals got kind of mad that the beer was getting sold online, and then it was selling out like in a second, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, for sure.
I think they're from St. Louis, and definitely that the people in that area who love them and know them, they don't like the fact that it's out on tap more. I mean, so far I don't think they've put anything super crazy out on Tabor that's like their top beers, but who knows, we'll see. Other half will be their Revolution from Chicago. That's pretty exciting. And Monkish, Trillium.
Nice.
That one I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, dude, this is going to be insane.
Yeah, so I'm very, very, very excited. It's going to be a cool weekend. We're going to go to Hearst Castle. It's my wife's birthday, so we're going out there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she loves Hearst Castle. So we're going to do a couple tours there. And then Paso Robles, where Firestone Walker is, it's also a big wine area. It's like a mini little Napa down there. Tons of wineries. So we'll probably drink some wine too that weekend. And it's going to be really cool.
I'm jealous. I've actually never been to Hearst Castle. It's like one of those things that I live really close to. Not close to, but...
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's actually terribly unclose. It's like probably 6-hour drive for you, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's not close. Okay.
Because it's like Central California and also like coastal. So you kind of have to go like down and out. to the coast.
It's actually right. It's a really bad drive for me.
Yeah, and it's not
But
like
I want to
easily
go there
accessible.
Because I always think of Huell Hauser. It was called California's Gold.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like he's like a host, right?
He's like a host, and he has the mentality of like a 7-year-old, where he's just like super happy, and he's just every day of his life is like the greatest day of his life.
Gotcha.
There's like a highlight reel when he passed, and there, I think it's Hertz Castle. I'll send you. It's like a 5-minute tribute to him. And he's at I think it's called the Neptune pool or whatever, that really amazing pool. Yeah, and he goes, he looks like dead in the camera, and he's like, this pool really speaks to me. Oh, he's like, but he's not, it's not a character, it's just him.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's such a genuine person. I'll send it to you. But yeah, so ever since I saw that clip, I'm like, dude, I want to go to Hertz Castle, because like, that episode makes it look incredible. Like, it's such an amazing
really
place.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. My wife and I did a trip down Highway 1 down the coast. Yeah. We did that back, I think I was in nursing school at the time, but yeah, so we basically stayed on Highway 1 as much as we possibly could all the way down the coast, and that was one of our stops. The other cool thing right there, if it's during the right time of year, is the elephant seals. Oh. So right there on the beach, like close to where Hearst Castle is, like in San Simeon, there's it's just a yearly mating area for elephant seals.
Oh, okay.
So the beach is like covered in elephant seals, these ginormous seals, and they're like making all this noise, and they're mating, and they're screaming at each other and fighting over mates. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really cool.
That sounds wild. It's like something that would be on like that Planet Earth 4K special, but you can like go there in person.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go with the right time of year, that you get to see the elephant seals, which is just a really cool experience. And Hearst Castle. So it's cool. It's just it is very it's not easy to get to. It really is.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, in a couple years, when my daughter is a bit older, we'll do a couples trip, and I'll hand her off to grandma or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll go to the Invitational, and you guys can take us to Hertz Castle.
All right. So let me think what else I need to catch up on. So I have a new job.
Oh yeah. Let's hear about it.
It's a beer job.
You're in the industry now.
Yeah. So I must have just already been following this on Instagram. I probably just, I follow like everything I possibly can, beer related. And it was called the ATX, which is the what we use for the Austin area, ATX beer bus, Austin beer bus. And they posted something about hiring. And so I kind of looked into it, and I thought it was really cool, because basically the guy that owns the Austin beer bus, James Lipari, he is a certified Cicerone.
Really?
Yeah. And he built this business. He's been in the Austin beer scene for a long time. He's written for different Austin beer publications. He was a home brewer himself. He's worked as a brewer at different breweries. And one of the things that I thought this was kind of funny when you were talking about the brewery subreddit. One of the things he hated about being a beer brewer was that he was like so immersed in that one brewery's beer.
Oh.
That, like, he didn't really get to drink much of anything else, right? Like, the beer he was brewing was free for him to drink.
Right.
Right. And then he was only hanging out with the people that he worked with. So it was just like a small group. He wasn't really like branching out, getting much exposure to, or like more time to talk to other people. Yeah. And he's just a guy that likes to talk to people and socialize. And so it was just, he didn't like being confined to that one brewery. So he decided to start this business called the Austin Beer Bus. And basically he customizes brewery tours in and around the Austin area. He has a big shuttle bus that carries, I think, like 14 people. He also can like rent out other buses and stuff if he needs bigger groups, or he has more than one tour going on, but he owns the one bus.
Okay.
And he curates these tours. So if you're a big group, you want to go on a brewery tour, you let him know like how big your group is, what kind of experience you want to have. He does all sorts of things like bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, any type of thing. So, 21st birthdays, that kind of stuff. So you get sort of a wide range of people and a wide range of like craft beer knowledge and stuff.
Okay.
Or what kind of beers they like. So he tries to pick the breweries based on what kind of beers they like, what experience they want to have, that type of thing. And then he builds this tour for them, like usually 3 or 4 stops, and he'll even include like a distillery or a winery or like a craft cocktail place, that kind of stuff, if that's what he thinks they want. So, but he just knows. He's very knowledgeable about the beer and alcohol scene in Austin. So he knows a lot of these people, and spends a lot of his time in breweries drinking the beers and stuff. So he's very knowledgeable about each brewery and the beers that they brew and that kind of stuff. So it's just a really cool. I mean, there's a couple different beer tours in Austin, but this one is just very unique in that it's got a Cicerone who's leading it and curating and making it very, very private and unique to whatever the experience you want to have. So I just kind of looked into it. I really liked it, and so I reached out to him and said, hey, like, if you need people, I'd love to sort of learn about the beer scene in this area and just kind of become more knowledgeable, maybe resource and network while doing it. And so I've been driving for him for a few weeks now. I've done 3 tours total with him. And,
that's so fun.
It's pretty cool. So almost every brewery we've been to, I had not been to before. There's been a few I've been to before, but yeah, a lot of exposure to new breweries. And I don't get to drink at all, basically.
Right, because you're driving the bus.
Because I'm driving, yeah. It's not a good look. But I do taste a few things, at each place.
A sip or 2, yeah.
Yeah, and I try to like buy to-go beer. Like that's where I got this beer. I was on a tour and we were at BeerBurg, and that's where I picked up this Oyster Stout. So I try to support the breweries that I'm at with at least some to-go beers.
Yeah.
Makes me feel a little less guilty about like just trying some beers, because they'll just give me a bunch of tasters and then I'm like, okay, thanks. I don't buy anything.
Well, I mean, you're like, no, that seems reasonable, though. I mean, you just brought like a bunch of people there to drink on the tour. It's like, I'm sure they're happy. Like, they probably love when the bus pulls up.
Yeah, love it or hate it, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Depends. If we're on our 4th stop, they probably hate it.
Yeah, depends on how wild the party is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. A lot of it for me is the like intoxication management and keeping people on schedule. Which again gets harder and harder as we get deeper into the tour. But it is very fun, and the people are always super cool and happy to be, drinking and getting some expertise and having some fun. So
no, that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'm jealous because you're like, I don't know, we always joked about how like when we retire, or like when I retire, I'm gonna go become a tour guide like one day a week at like one of the
Russian River.
Russian River, Sierra Nevada, and just like do it. They don't even have to pay me. I'll just be like, like I'm retired. Hopefully, I'll have money, but like yeah. And then just to like kind of be in the scene and absorbing people's excitement about beer. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of like how this is. It's just that this is like one of those jobs, although I have to keep my full-time job.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's cool. It's fun. I really like James, who does it. It's fun getting to talk to him, and it's interesting seeing how like he's, there's just, again, it's that brewery thing of like starting a brewery. It's like starting a business. I mean, he started this Austin Beer Bus like 3 months before COVID hit.
Oh wow, that's so challenging.
And then basically had to work through
Write
that.
it out.
And,
yeah.
So super difficult, but he's like super committed to this business and really giving people not only a good experience and a fun experience, but also being able to really use his beer expertise to introduce people to craft beer, which is which is exactly what we like to do with less expertise.
No, that sounds awesome. We were not Cicerones. Did it make you want to study your flashcards some more?
Yeah, it does, and then it doesn't.
Yeah, it's intimidating. No, that's really cool.
Because
though.
now
And
I have
bet,
less time.
Yeah, or right. Yeah, it's eating up some of your free time. But I'm sure like the coolest part of that too is like you're gonna get like intimately familiar with like the local beer scene because probably like you said you haven't been to a bunch of the breweries.
Yeah, and it's really cool. He's super he's very supportive of the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And
We
so
like that.
he tags us in all his posts, and he tells people about the podcast, tells the guests about the podcast and stuff like that. So it's just really cool, and we should honestly have him on sometime soon.
Yeah, let's do it. We need a guest.
Because I guarantee he would love to just talk about his business for hours.
We can ask him some tips of how to become how to study for the Cicerone test.
Yeah. Drink lots of beer. That's number one.
Right? Yeah. Oh,
we got that out of the way.
We got that out of the way. Yeah, it's just I can't tell the difference of on those. There's so many styles, but well, that's really cool, Steven. I had seen some of that stuff on Instagram, but now I know the whole story. This is like the first time we've actually talked since the baby came.
Yeah, we've been texting a little bit, but
yeah,
good to see your face.
Babies are a lot of work, man.
It's true. Almost as bad as having a puppy.
Like 500 times harder than a puppy.
It's like the same.
Well, to be fair, I've never had a puppy. But...
that's great.
Whew. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's hard, man. Welcome to the life.
I feel like every parent, and now I'm like I get to be part of the secret club. I mean, a lot of humanity is in the club, but I'm sure you guys look at us, expectant parents to be of your first child, and you're just like,
sucker.
Yeah, exactly. My sweet summer child. As our mutual friend Matt said, and he said this like 2 years before we decided to have a kid, and I remember hearing it, but I didn't fully understand it until 9 weeks ago. He said, before you don't understand, like, no matter how busy your life seems, how demanding your job is, before you have children, you are on vacation 24/7. I was like, what does he mean? Like, I'm not on vacation. Like, I have to work. I have no time to do anything. Well, Matt, I now understand what you meant. Yeah. And I was indeed on vacation 24/7. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it comes back, but the amount of time I have, the amount of free time I have has been drastically reduced. And it makes you wonder, like, what did I used to do with all that time?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you don't realize. But, I think that's what Matt is talking about. Is like you're on vacation before that. Like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you have so much time. It feels like you don't.
Yeah.
And then when you have the kid, it's like you're spending all this time, taking care of the kid, and you realize like, well, I guess it's the same amount of hours in the day. I must have been doing something else, but I just don't know what.
Well, it's funny because luckily I have my work. I got 12 weeks off, so I'm really fortunate to be in that situation. But it's so funny how like the time is just getting devoured. Like the baby will wake up in the night, and then we go through it's like you're basically in the Twilight Zone, where you're like in an endless cycle of like a 3-hour cycle of like change the baby, feed the baby, get the baby to go back to sleep, and then it just happens 3 hours again.
Yeah.
And like time has lost all meaning, like, and it's like it feels like I've been in this stage for like an eternity, but also like the 12 weeks is like almost over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go back to work, and like I don't understand how time is going so fast and so slow.
Well, that doesn't sum up having kids. I don't know what like way too fast, way too slow.
Yes, and I'm like anticipating like if you're a little older you can do this, but then like every time we take a picture of her and she's a little bit bigger, we're like, no, don't get bigger, stay small. But
yeah, and I think too, especially between a first and a second kid, I remember like you want the first kid you want them to walk right? You want them to crawl,
Talk.
you want them to walk, you want them to do all the stuff. And then the second kid, you're like, you don't have to do that soon. Especially the walking, because they just want to go. It's harder to keep track of them when they can walk. So, so then you realize like, oh, no, don't want them to walk. And then, of course, inevitably, they start walking a lot sooner than your first kid. So just stuff like that.
Model.
It's just, yeah, exactly. Yeah, somebody they want to chase around. So, yeah, it's just unbelievably hard. Oh. And there you go, my kid's back from the pool.
So yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. This is going to be a very tangential episode.
It's okay. Let's see how many listeners we retained.
If they're a dedicated subscriber, they already know that it isn't an attenuation episode if there isn't like 45 minutes of tangents.
They're gonna get notified this week of an episode and be like, what?
Yeah, I'm back, baby.
Well, back weekly or back just as often as you can?
As often as I can.
He's back. He's fully back, people.
Let's shoot for bi-weekly for now, and then we'll see if we can get back to weekly.
His liver can't handle weekly drinking now. I
gotta get used to drinking again. It was actually really funny. My wife, last tangent, and then we'll talk about, we can wrap up with some more beer news, but or if you have story time with Steve. I guess we kind of did with your new job, but
yeah.
My poor wife, was kind to me because obviously she didn't want to drink during pregnancy, and she did not require me to be in solidarity with me because she knows I have a beer podcast. So she's like, you can drink, it's fine. But she hasn't drank, obviously, throughout the pregnancy. And then, so she got her first margarita the other day.
Nice.
And it was so funny because she's like, I haven't drank for so long. Like, just give me, like, we actually measured, like, 5 ounces. And then she just drank, like, the total standard one drink, like, by the definition, 18%, 5 ounces or whatever. Yeah. And she was so funny because she was, like, so loopy. It was like, it was almost like it was the first time she ever drank. And then the next day she was like, I think I'm hungover. Like, how is this even possible? Like, you haven't drank for so long. Like, so yeah, I'm a little bit in the same boat. I don't think I'm as bad as her because it hasn't been as long, but.
Doesn't take much to get your liver primed.
Yeah, it'll catch back up, but that's okay because we had to get her. Actually, our real close friends had a baby 3 months before ours, so we're kind of experiencing the same thing. And we coordinated that we're gonna try to get them out on Mother's Day because they really want to go out, have lunch and have a margarita. So we're training her for her first trip into the the wild.
Nice.
Where she drinks like a restaurant margarita, which will definitely be stronger than her little
measured out one.
Yeah, the measured out one we made. So
nice.
So yeah. All right, cool. So tangent after tangent. Do we have anything? Do we want to talk about beer? Anything else we have to talk about beer?
Well, we did have the World Beer Cup Awards this week.
Oh yeah.
Just a couple of days ago, I think. So those awards were announced. Always really cool just to see what wins. I always, I hear a baby crying. What?
That's her debut on the podcast.
It's always fun to just sort of see what stands out to me. Obviously, there's tons of breweries that I have never heard of. So it's just kind of cool to see that. But it's also cool to see the ones that I have heard of that won. I mean, Stout Brewing, which is a all German style, very authentic German style brewery in Fredericksburg, which is just a little west of Austin. Their Hefeweizen won gold. So that's always cool, especially if you're trying to make a style the best you can make it, right? Like the most authentic you can make it, and to win gold is sort of like just a nice validation what you're doing. So that's really cool. Just a lot of like Austin area breweries. Real Ale Brewing won for a wood and barrel aged sour beer. Austin Beer Works got silver in that same category. I believe Pint House Pizza won an award, or Pint House Brewing, I should call it. I call it Pint House Pizza. It's really only one of their spots is technically the pizza place. But it's the one I go to, so they call it the Chuck E. Cheese of all the Pint House locations.
Wait, really? Why?
Yeah, because there's like 4 or 5 Pint House locations, and it just is the one that's like, I don't know, it's the one that gets the most families and kids running around.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It's a pizza place, and I think they do more in food sales than they do in beer sales. It's like percentage wise, like it's much higher there than any other location. Like they all have food, but that one is like where people go to eat more than to drink beer or something. I don't know. So
That's funny.
yeah, so they call the like actual owners of Pint House, they call that one the Chuck E. Cheese location.
That is really funny.
You know the other one, and I don't know when I'll have to look up when they open, but Moxa Brewing. Have you heard of Moxa?
Mm-mm.
So I think it's in Rockland.
Oh, okay.
But they're huge. Like, I mean, they have a pretty big following, and their beers are supposedly really, really good. But they got silver in the hazy IPA category.
Oh, okay.
For their Nectaronus Prime. And Moonraker won gold.
Yeah, I was going to say Moonraker's on here for juicy or hazy Imperial IPA.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're amazing.
That's some validation for me, too, because I always thought that they were like, their hazies were just a class above everyone else's.
Oh, yeah, they are. I mean,
and I didn't know if I was right about that, but yeah.
Moonraker's pretty legit. Unfortunately, it's like on the cusp. I'm close to it, but not like that close. Dude, because we went that one day, we Ubered. But it's like an hour
Best
away.
day ever.
Yeah. Oh, it was so fun. That was so fun. We gotta come back. You gotta come back. We'll do that again. But yeah, it's kind of like I could go, but it's like it's a pretty huge commitment.
It's a trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of like it's pretty similar to me going to Jester King. Like,
okay, yeah.
It's a true trip, 45 minutes to an hour at least to get there, and it's great, but you have to like make a day of it.
Yeah, because then you figure if you're drinking, you gotta just have a window to sober up, and like, that's why it was nice when we didn't have to drive.
Yeah, so that's kind of some Alvarado Street, who I mentioned is going to be at the Firestone Walker Invitational. They won an award.
21st Amendment got a bronze.
Yeah, for their El Sole, right?
El Sole, yeah, that Mexican style lager.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Sierra Nevada won for their Sunny Little Thing.
Oh, cool.
They got a silver medal. New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Juice Force.
Oh, really?
The Voodoo Ranger, man. Verboten, which is in like North Denver, they make one of my favorite beers. Rolling is the watermelon. It's a watermelon goza. They won a bunch of awards. I think it was like 2 or 3 at least. So that was cool. It's just cool to see. New Glarus won gold for their vintage 2022 in the Belgian style sour ale, which doesn't surprise me.
We gotta go to New Glarus. It's the only way we're gonna get to drink their beer.
Yeah, one day that really has to be our next trip.
I agree.
Yeah, we have to do a Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, here we come.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Michigan, or Wisconsin and something, I don't know, or just Wisconsin, I don't know.
I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll look at the logistics. We will be pretty close to Michigan, but
that would be fun.
All right, sir. Well, my baby's crying.
I was gonna say, baby's crying. We got wrap it up.
I'm gonna go rescue my wife. We got our first round of vaccines this week, so baby is very fussy.
Vaccines are brutal.
All right. Well, if you want to reach us, this is you can email us at contact@attenuation@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram at attenuation.podcast. This has been episode 96 of Attenuation, of your podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Stephen.
That's me.
And we are saying cheers, and we'll see you hopefully pretty soon, probably in a couple weeks, for episode 97. We're almost to 100. We got to do something special.
We got to make it.
Oh, we're going to make it. But we got to do, like, I don't know, think of a theme for number 100.
Some sort of celebration theme.
Yeah, we can, like, revisit our favorite episodes, or I don't know, something
Ooh,
like that.
I like it. Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a Beer Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!